thank you for being present today to commemorate the tragic and heroic events that took place 3 years ago today, including people who didn't know Johnny but came to support me. When we say the name Johnny Hurley, we will always remember he was the Good Samaritan who stopped a mass shooting after only one person was killed. A crazy gunman wanted to kill as many police officers as he could. He ambushed Officer Gordon Beesley, who didn't stand a chance. I was honored to attend the funeral of this stellar man who stood head and shoulders above most of us. A man who may have performed many heroic deeds in his life should not have had to suffer such a senseless and tragic death. But on June 21st, 2021, he was not the hero. I had been given to understand I could participate with the Arvada police in creating a way to remember Johnny's heroism. So imagine my surprise when, without my input, a couple weeks ago, they erected a plaque for Officer Beesley and Johnny together. About 5 blocks from here, on the Grandview Bridge that crosses Wadsworth, it stands in a large planter full of flowers. The plaque thanks and remembers Police Officer Beesley and Johnny Hurley for their heroism and protection of the Arvada community. It begs one to wonder what these vague and generic words are referring to. What was it that these two men did together? Forgive me, but the answer is nothing. On that day, it was Johnny's heroism that protected the Arvada community. He was the hero on June 21st, 2021. Are you here today in the square because you are a member of the Arvada community? Are you here now because you were here then? Did you hear shots ring out? Did you see Officer Beesley fall or hear bullets hit the side of So Radish restaurant or the glass breaking in the police cars? Does it make your heart quicken to remember hiding in the back of the schoolhouse restaurant or the Army surplus store, frantically calling 911? Were you afraid there were children playing in the splash pad? Did you fear for your very life? Did you by chance see my son run stealthily across the square? I will never stop wondering what your experience was like. I will never tire of hearing your story. I will always thank you for honoring my son by coming here to remember what he did that day. In honoring him, you honor me. And I will never stop wondering what it was like for the policemen who were in this building right here. I wonder what it was like to suddenly know a flurry of 911 calls were from right here. And I will always wonder just how former police officer Craig Brownlow felt when he learned the man he shot in the back without warning was the Good Samaritan. He held Johnny in his sights for 11 seconds from the safety of a hidden doorway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How could he fail to notice Johnny looked completely different from the descriptions of the gunman? And in that 11 seconds of silence, because by now the square was empty, how could he fail to announce his presence to someone whose back was to him? The crazy gunman had the plan and intention of killing many police officers. Johnny stopped him from doing that. My son saved the very life of the man who then killed him. I wonder how that makes Craig Brownlow feel. 3 men died. What Officer Beesley and Johnny had in common is that they were both ambushed, one by a crazy gunman and one by the police. My son had a big heart, a strong sense of justice, and the wherewithal to do the right thing. On the summer solstice of 2021, he stepped up and did the right thing, but he shouldn't have had to die for it. Now, if you are someone who was here that day, you did the right thing too. You are here now for those who need you. I know I'm not the first mother to lose a child, her firstborn, her only son. I'm not even the first mother who lost her son in a wrongful death at the hands of the police, and I feel a kinship with all mothers who have. But in this scenario, I can focus on being proud that my son was brave enough to run toward danger to save the lives of others. Here are some things I've learned about myself since losing Johnny. I'm stronger than I thought I was, and a little sadder than I used to be. I've also learned that the first step toward finding a new sense of normal to step into is acceptance. The unfolding of events on the summer solstice of 2021 are too terrible, too tragic, and too ironic to contemplate. Some of us have been doing that for years. The only way to move forward is to start with acceptance. It happened. It shouldn't have. It didn't need to, but it did. If the first step is acceptance, the last step is forgiveness. The quality of forgiveness is larger than any of us, but also available to each of us. I imagine it as a kind of cloud that is right over our heads. All we have to do is just reach up and pull a thread of forgiveness out of this cloud and connect it to our heart. I believe my spirit can forgive Craig Brownlow, but as Johnny's mother, I'm not sure I can do that. In taking Johnny's life without giving it the chance and the respect it deserved, so many other lives have been forever changed. I lost a child, and really, I just feel like I'm the lucky girl who got to be his mom. My daughter has to live the rest of her life without her brother and closest ally. He was always her hero. In losing Johnny, some among you have lost a camping buddy, a music partner, a sweetheart, a best friend, a teacher, a co-worker, a confidant, an encourager. And oh my goodness, those of you who spent terrifying moments that required therapy to recover from can't even thank him for ending the shooter's rampage. That is what Craig Brownlow took from us and more. So much more. Without Johnny, our lives are diminished. But the world is diminished without Johnny's spirit, his smile, his compassion, his voice, his capacity for having fun, his search for the truth of a matter. I know I have a great capacity for forgiveness, yet I do not know how to access a thread of forgiveness for what has been taken from so many. Wherever we are on our path from acceptance to forgiveness, we are forever connected to each other through this one brief and intense moment of time. Whether you were here or not on that impossibly tragic day, we are connected by our stories. So keep sharing your story of how you knew Johnny, what you experienced that day, and how it has changed you. And keep the name Johnny Hurley and his heroism alive by saying his name. Each year, my daughter and I will be here on this date, but not necessarily in this organized way, and probably earlier in the day. I would love to see you as often as you would like to come. And I'm so pleased to announce that the owner of the Army Surplus Store, Stephen Cohen, and I are collaborating on a proper memorial plaque for Johnny to be displayed in the front of the place from which he ran into danger to save the lives of strangers. Thank you, and please stick around to greet each other, listen to stories, enjoy the music, and speak the name Johnny Hurley.
Johnny Hurley!
One of the most inspiring speeches. No wonder Johnny was such a king from a queen like that. Wow. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for sharing that.